You are Locked On Warriors Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Warriors Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KNBR. And tonight, the Golden State Warriors could have made a big step forward in the NBA's Western Conference standings, but instead fell to the lowly Philadelphia 76ers, 126-119 out in Philadelphia. Jimmy Butler missed his first game with the Golden State Warriors since they acquired him, and his absence was clearly noticeable out there on the court. The Warriors could not stop a nosebleed on defense tonight, and the Philadelphia 76ers also missing an all-star of their own. Center Joel Embiid shot the cover off the ball from the three-point lane, or from the three-point stripe, and Quentin Grimes posted a career-high 44 points. With the loss, the Warriors failed to move into the 6th seed in the Western Conference, and it leaves us with some questions, and we'll break it all down. But first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. If you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Warriors podcast feed, making us your first listen following these Dubs games. Make sure to check out the Locked On Warriors Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. And tonight, man, this was a very frustrating game. Coming into this, the Warriors won 5 in a row. Sixers, losers of their last 9. This team hadn't won a game since the Eagles won the Super Bowl. How long ago does that feel? And tonight, it's the Warriors who are on the wrong end of this one. 126-119 final, as we said. Steph, he had 29 points. He was doing everything he could. He was plus 12. There was only 2 other players on this entire Warriors team, 3 other players who had a positive plus minus. So the non-Steph minutes tonight were clearly a huge problem. And we kind of expected that, because the way that Jimmy Butler has really changed those minutes when Steph's not on the court. And without him out there tonight, it was apparent how much the Warriors really desperately need Jimmy Butler on this team in order for them to win games. And even against a team like the Sixers, who are 21-38, this is not a good basketball team. And the Warriors, without Jimmy Butler, are not a very good basketball team either. We've seen that all season long. The Warriors underachieving without Jimmy Butler on the court. And he missed tonight because of back spasms. It was reported that he got kind of banged into by Wendell Carter during that Magic game, and he was unable to go tonight due to his back spasms. But man, a huge problem without Jimmy Butler. And we're going to unveil a couple new segments on the show tonight. Let's start it off right now. What are we talking about, man? What are you going to be talking about after today's game?
This is what you'll be talking about.
And what you'll be talking about after today's game is just what we just started the show with. No Jimmy Butler, a big problem for the Warriors. Without him on this team, the Warriors were awful defensively. It seemed like over and over again. Anybody that wanted to drive the lane on the Sixers just had a free pass right to the bucket. And the Warriors really didn't do much to stop Quentin Grimes. This guy was so hot early on. And he had, especially in the third quarter, he really heated up there. I think he scored about 17 points in that third quarter. And the Warriors just weren't closing out on him the way they should. They were giving him way too much space to breathe. And this guy just kept draining shots. He made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different threes. Just a horrible defensive showing from the Warriors in that third quarter. Quentin Grimes, 8 of 11 from the field. And I have to imagine that if you had more defensive presence out there, which obviously Jimmy Butler has shown that he brings over and over again, this would have been different. Draymond Green can't do it all on defense. And also, I want to point out, Yabusele, that dude was awesome tonight for the 76ers, especially later on in the game. But he hit a bunch of threes tonight, man. That guy hit 5 different three-pointers. It felt like every single one was a wide open look. And that was kind of the theme for the Sixers tonight. 19 of 33 from the three-point line, and that's 57.6%. I mean, the Sixers are not a great three-point shooting team. If you told me before this game Tyrese Maxey is going to go 2 of 14 from the field with 5 points, I would have told you the Warriors were going to win this game. Paul George, he had a pretty mediocre game going into that fourth quarter. He really turned it on. He ended up finishing with not too bad of a slash line. Paul George also hit a little like one-footed fadeaway dagger from the free throw line that just, I don't even know how he got that shot to go over Draymond Green's outstretched hand. It was terrible out there in Philadelphia. This loss is really frustrating for multiple reasons. Not just the fact that you lose to a team who's lost 9 games in a row, not just the fact that you lose to a team who's missing their star big man, not just the fact that you're losing to this team on a night where Tyrese Maxey does not play well, but you're also losing to this team on a night where the Dallas Mavericks lose, the Houston Rockets lose, and the Memphis Grizzlies lose. The Warriors fail to take advantage of this golden opportunity in front of them. They could have gone 2 full games up over the Mavericks, could have gained ground on Houston, could have gained ground on Memphis, but worst of all, if the Warriors had won this game, they would be in sole possession of 6th place in the Western Conference. You could start trying to continue to run that win total up, and then we could maybe even start thinking about, can you catch a team like the Rockets or the Grizzlies? I don't think the Lakers are going to start losing games, but after they went out and got Luka, but this was such a good opportunity for this team to start making some ground. I mean, they've been gaining ground, but this would have been the best game for them to win. And it was against a totally beatable opponent. This was just the Warriors kind of, S in the bed, if you know what I mean. I mean, I know they didn't have Jimmy Butler tonight, but you cannot just rely on this one guy so much. And just as much as the Warriors are relying on Jimmy Butler, as much pressure as they put on him is even more on Steph Curry to perform, and especially on nights when Jimmy is not out there. And Steph tonight, he tried to do his part, man. He, as we said, 29 points, plus 12, plus minus. Steph also had 13 assists. He had 5 boards in this one, made 5 3-pointers, 10 of 18 from the field. So a pretty solid night overall for Steph Curry. But the Warriors turnover numbers ticked up a little bit tonight. 15 turnovers for the Warriors. We have been seeing them take care of the ball a lot better than that in recent weeks. They lose the turnover battle just by 1 turnover, but still it ended up being a big difference in this one. And I mean, the game came down. I'm surprised, honestly, the Warriors were able to fight their way back into this one, because at halftime, the Sixers led by 13 points going into the half. And Quentin Grimes, right before the half, this dude just drills a 3-pointer. And it just seemed like the Sixers night, man. The first half, by the way, Sixers shot even better. They made 11 of their 16 3-point attempts at 68.8%. And while that is partially due to the Sixers just getting really, really, really hot, with Jimmy Butler out there, those defensive rotations would be a lot more crisp, and you'd see a lot less wide open threes that we saw from the Sixers all night long. Grimes, 8 of 9 from the field in that first half, made all 4 of his 3-point shots, and had 20 points, including that 3-pointer to beat the buzzer just ahead of halftime. Kelly Oubre also went on a little hot streak of his own in that second quarter. Former Warrior Kelly Oubre from a season that we'd all love to forget. When he scored 15 points in that first half, he finished with, one second here, technical difficulties. He finished with 20. So Kelly Oubre also hurt the Warriors. It just seemed like it was coming from everywhere on the Sixers. Like, they had 5 different guys in double figures. Andre Drummond was a beast inside tonight, 14 rebounds, 5 offensive boards. The Warriors just didn't really have enough from the role players. Buddy Hield, 3 and 9, back to being bad Buddy. And it's so relevant, so prevalent how much Jimmy Butler lifts up every single player on this team. Steph is still Steph without Jimmy, but Buddy Hield, a lot better with Jimmy Butler out there on the court. GP2, he had a good game tonight, but he still gets a lot more open looks when Jimmy Butler's out there as well. And same with Moses Moody and Brandon Podziemski. Those guys really just didn't play as well as they have in recent weeks. Buddy Hield actually had a positive plus minus tonight, which is hilarious because he did not play very well. 0 of 6 from 3-point line, and Buddy was just not that great tonight. Moses Moody -10, Brandon Pajemski -16. So just not a very good showing by Moses Moody and Pods. Specifically, they combined for 15 points, and Moses Moody 3 of 8 from the field, Pods 2 of 8 from the field, in a combined 2 of 7 from 3-point land. This was not a good night for the Golden State Warriors supporting cast, and I kind of wish we would have seen a little more Quentin Post in this one. He only had 25 minutes. I thought the Warriors could have used his 3-point shooting there towards the end of the game in that fourth quarter. But really, man, this one, I felt like it just got away from the Warriors in that second quarter, really in the third quarter too, when the Warriors went on a huge scoreless streak. I mean, they didn't score for almost 5 minutes about 5 minutes in that second quarter. And Steph was sitting for 7.5 of this time in the second quarter. And when he came out, the Warriors were up by 6, 30-24. And then when he came back in, they were losing. And, by that point, Grimes is going crazy. Kelly Oubre had like 3 consecutive possessions where he drained 3-pointers, and the Warriors just looked like they were getting run off the court. In that first half, I did not have the stats for the second half on the non-Steph minutes, but the first half, the Warriors +2 with Steph on the court, and without him -14. So obviously this is a big deal. Without Jimmy Butler, I mean, the Jimmy effect is a real thing. The way that he adds to this defense, the way that he adds to these role players, and without him, the Warriors looked hapless, honestly. Losing to the Philadelphia 76ers is a bad look for a team that's hoping to climb up into the Western Conference playoffs. This team might not even make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. They might not even make the play-in the Eastern Conference. Definitely not making the playoffs. The Sixers, as we said earlier, 21-38. This is just their 11th win at home all season long. They're 11-20 on their own home court. They had lost 9 in a row coming into tonight. The Warriors just down bad. I mean, this is one of the more frustrating losses, definitely the most frustrating loss since the acquisition of Jimmy Butler. And it's just a gut punch. And I really do think that this could be a big momentum killer for the Golden State Warriors. Your road trip continues. Up next, you got the Hornets on Monday. So hopefully that can be a get right game for the Warriors, because they really need it. They need to get back out there, and who knows, maybe Jimmy Butler, maybe the back spasms continue and he might miss another game. But the one good thing that I can say is that Jonathan Kuminga may make his return on Monday. The Warriors have been desperately waiting for him to come back. And now with Jimmy on the mend, you need him back more than ever. And I think Jonathan Kuminga could have made a big difference in this game tonight. He could have been another guy out there to score and take some of that pressure off of Steph. He could have helped out in the non-Steph minutes a lot. Without him, without Jimmy, you were kind of just needing another guy, and the Warriors just didn't have it tonight. But there was one big moment that I want to go over in the fourth quarter, and it was the turning point of tonight's game. So let's get into our next segment, tonight's turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
In this game, in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, about 1:30 left to play, 2 minutes right around there. The Sixers, they had a Quentin Grimes, an easy Quentin Grimes bucket after the Warriors had tied this game up, and it seemed like they were they were starting to build this momentum, and then they just don't get back on defense, and Grimes just gets an easy bucket, way too easy of a basket for that point in the game. You have to have the presence of mind to get back on defense in those moments. They just did not tonight, and immediately the Warriors go back down the court, miss a layup. Moses Moody smokes one inside, and Yabusele goes back the other way, hits one of those wide open threes that we talked about that he got, and it pushed the lead up to 5 for the Sixers with 1:30 to play. That seemed like the nail in the coffin tonight for the Golden State Warriors. And it was all things that you just know that the Warriors struggle with, especially when they don't have Jimmy. The layups, man, this has been an issue all season long. The Warriors just struggling to make hoops inside the painted area. They missed 17 layups tonight, according to NBC's Dalton Johnson. And if you just made even half of those, you win this game. 17 missed layups is just entirely too many, unexcusable. And a lot of them, some of them were contested, but again, there's no Joel Embiid on this team. Yes, Andre Drummond is still down there, and he is a big man to deal with in the painted area. But you still got to take advantage of not having that big giant man in Joel Embiid out there. And I know Embiid has not been great this season. The knee injury has clearly, held him back and all those different things. But you got to take advantage when the other team doesn't have one of their all-stars. You cannot be losing to a team that's damn near 20 games under 500 that is missing key components of their roster. This is just an inexcusable loss for the Warriors. Yes, it is tough. They've been playing a lot of games lately on the road, and you can't play Steph 40 minutes a night. You just can't do that. Steve Kerr even just said that post-game when he was asked about Steph's playing time and that long rest that he took, that 7.5-minute rest that he took from about 2:30 in the first quarter until about 5 minutes into the second quarter. But Steve did the right thing, in my opinion. I don't think that you need to run Steph into the ground at this point in the season, because this isn't when you need him. You need him in the postseason to be at his peak. And you just need other people on this team to step up and win regular season games. It's going to be a lot tougher to beat teams in the playoffs than the Philadelphia 76ers. You're going to face much stiffer competition than this. The Warriors tonight were just not up for it. By the way, the Warriors shooting, three-point shooting, was abysmal tonight. They shot 42 shots from beyond the arc, only made 12. That's at 28.6% mark. Also notably, without Jimmy, that free throw percentage dipped back down under 80%, 78.9% from the line tonight. That is not what the Warriors have been doing. So without Jimmy, the turnovers are up, the free throws are down, and all of the bench player and role player production also down. The defense looked bad. You give up 126 points tonight to the 76ers. That's far too many points to give up to a team like this that just struggles to score. This is the most points that the Warriors have given up since they gave up 125 to the Milwaukee Bucks. They gave up 120 to the Lakers the game before they acquired Jimmy Butler. The Warriors scored 125 against the Bucks in that win, but they gave up 120 to the Lakers the game before they acquired Jimmy Butler, or the game before Jimmy Butler actually started for the Golden State Warriors against the Bulls. That was his first game with the Dubs. Every game since then, they've held opponents to under 120 points. Tonight, they were unable to do that, and you see the results. Without Jimmy Butler, this team is so average, so mediocre. We can roll back the clock to Steph last year around this time saying that this team is painfully average. And when you look at this team without Jimmy Butler, it's pretty painfully average. It was evident tonight. There were also a couple other key moments at the end of this game that we can go through that we talked about. That Paul George 1-footer fade away from the free throw line over Draymond Green also kept the lead at 5. And Guy Santos, I love Guy Santos, but man, that was a boneheaded play that he made, getting in the last waning minutes, last few possessions that the Warriors have. Everything is on the table right now. Like, you have to be locked in mentally. And Guy Santos, he inbounds the ball to Draymond Green and kind of takes his time getting back inbounds. He was the inbounder on the play, and he doesn't establish position inbounds. Draymond whips the ball back to him, and he's out of bounds. Like, he never reestablished position. So it's a turnover, and the Sixers get the ball, go back the other way. And that's pretty much it for the Warriors. I mean, too many mistakes down the stretch. All these things immensely better with Jimmy Butler on the team than when he's not. So a lot of mistakes for the Warriors tonight, but you kind of have to just move on, turn the page. You got to take that baseball reliever mentality of next pitch, man. You got the Hornets coming up next. Steph going back to hometown Charlotte. He gets to go see the family. He gets to go see his brother, his dad calling the game for the Hornets. So Steph does like going out there, plays pretty well usually when he goes to Charlotte. So hopefully you don't need too much from Steph in Charlotte. Hopefully you get something back, either Jonathan Kuminga or Jimmy Butler. We will see what happens, but man, the Warriors, it's so obvious how bad this team is without Jimmy Butler, and it's so obvious when he's gone how much of an improvement he made to this team just all by himself, which I was all on board for the Jimmy Butler trade in the first place, but I really did not think that he all by himself would fix so many of the Warriors' problems. I mean, but the way that he elevates everybody around him, especially all the role players, Quentin Post, Buddy Hield, all these teams, he makes the Warriors better in every single aspect. They're a better shooting team. They're a better defensive team. All the big men end up playing a little bit better with Jimmy on the floor, especially Quentin Post and Draymond Green. So without him, you see the results. A really bad night for the Warriors. We got a lot more to get into on the other side, including the player of the game and so much more. Stick with us here on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. Basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with PrizePicks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With PrizePicks, you just pick more or less on at least 2 player predictions for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. It's easy to use, available in over 30 states, lets you mix and match your projections across different sports. And this week, tonight, man, I should have done the exact opposite of the play I made. I went with Kelly Oubre Jr., less than 17.5 points, pods for more than 12.5, and Tyrese Maxey for more than 20.5. And man, oh man, I could not have been any more wrong tonight. This was probably my worst PrizePicks play of the last, maybe this entire basketball season. So, but we move on. There's another opportunity against Charlotte, or you can just get in on some more action right now because PrizePicks makes it so simple. You can set your lineup in less than 60 seconds and stay engaged all game long. And when you win, your money hits your account in as little as 15 minutes. No waiting around. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Today's show is also sponsored by FanDuel, and when the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on it than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to get in on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late game rally or I'm picking a player to hit a clutch 3, I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors postcast. Tonight, the Warriors just absolutely fall flat on their face in the city of brotherly love. They fall 126-19 or 126-119 to a really bad 76ers team. And nothing frustrates me more this season in the NFL terms than watching what this Super Bowl was, the Eagles and the Chiefs. And the only reason I bring this up is because this is the first time that the Sixers have won a game since the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. That's how long it's been since this team won a game. And that the fact that that has to like just pop back up after the Warriors just get smacked out there in Philly, it's like a double-edged sword, man. Like it cuts both ways. It just no one in the Bay Area for the most part, if you're a Warriors fan, you are not happy about that Eagles championship. You're probably not happy if it would have been a Chiefs championship either. Both options were bad. And tonight you get to kind of be reminded about that again. Unfortunately, sorry to be the bearer of bad news on that front, but man, this was just a very frustrating game. Very, very frustrating. And part of that is because of who tonight's player of the game was. So let's get into that. Tonight's player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
And tonight's player of the game, we got to give it to Quentin Grimes. I mean, this guy just got there from Dallas. Talk about Dallas making bad trades. Nico Harrison got to be the most unpopular person in the entire state of Texas. Dude not only shipped out Luka Doncic for, injured big man Anthony Davis, who just immediately hits the bench with a lower body injury for an extended period of time, but he also shipped out Quentin Grimes. And this guy just balled out 44 points, 18 of 24 from the field. He also this is really weird, but he missed just as many shots from the free throw line as he did from the field. Missed 6 shots from the field, missed 6 shots at the free throw line. Very, very strange. He was fouled shooting a 3 late in this one and actually missed 2 of his 3 free throws. The Warriors called for a replay review. Draymond was very adamant about reviewing that one. And usually he's right in those situations, but in that one, he got it dead wrong. Draymond fouled the hell out of Quentin Grimes on that 3-point shot. And he kind of bailed the Warriors out, gave them a little bit of life, but it was just too little too late for the Dubs. I mean, Quentin Grimes, especially as we said earlier in that third quarter, just went bananas. I mean, he shot insane from the field, 73%, 8 of 11 in that third quarter. 2 of his shots that he missed, one of them was like a 30 plus footer from 3. He missed one other 3-pointer, and then he missed one in the paint. But this guy was just making everything all night long. He made a ton of 3-point shots tonight as well. Quentin Grimes, 6 and 9 from 3-point land. And in the first half, he was 8 of 9 from the field, 4 of 4 from 3-point land with 20 points. Ends up with 24 points in the second half as well. So a very well-balanced game from Quentin Grimes. And the Warriors just never really decided to go put a hand in his face or to close some of that breathing room that he had around him. It was just a bad defensive effort from this team. And I see what they were doing. I mean, they were focusing in on Tyrese Maxey. This team clearly felt that if they shut down, if they cut the head off the snake, Tyrese Maxey, clearly the driving factor in Philadelphia, with Paul George having a very bad year so far, and with no more Joel Embiid for the rest of the season, shut down with that knee injury. He is the conductor of this train. He's the engine that makes it go. And if they tried to cut the head off the snake, and the snake just like grew another head, like Quentin Grimes, it was like a 2-headed snake, and they chose the wrong head to chop. So Quentin Grimes tonight leads the Sixers over the Warriors, and it's just a bad loss for the Dubs. And I was getting good vibes tonight. Steph showed up in a very cool Allen Iverson jacket. He always cooks out there in Philly, and I thought that he was just going to kind of turn this into another Steph Curry game. I didn't expect 56 from him like we saw against the Magic in their last outing, but man, I really did not think that they were going to just drop this game. The Warriors also, if you're looking for random funny stats or random interesting stats rather, Warriors were 11-0 with Moses Moody in the starting lineup coming into tonight, and then they fall tonight. So now they finally have lost a game with Moses Moody in the starting lineup. And also of relevance, Steph had a pretty fun moment tonight. Comes in the loss, so it's going to get lost in the mix, but he had his first dunk since 2019. And to see Wardell getting up like that, using the bunnies at 36 years old, dude's still throwing it down. I mean, that's pretty impressive. His first dunk in like 5 years. It has been a long time since we've seen Steph throw it down. But I mean, it wasn't a demonstrative dunk. It wasn't anything that's going to get him invited to the dunk competition next year in the NBA All-Star game. But it's Steph saying, hey, look, I'm still a pro NBA athlete. You got to respect my game. I can score inside too if you really don't want me to be shooting these 3-pointers. And I mean, anytime that you get a Steph dunk, like it's just going to just ignite that whole team, that whole bench. I thought in that moment that might spark a rally, a comeback for the Warriors. And it kind of did give them a little bit of an energy lift, but the Warriors were unable to sustain it throughout the rest of this game. And the Warriors fall 126-119 to the 76ers out there in Philadelphia. Bad loss for this team. Spoiled the opportunity to take sole possession of the 6th seed with this win tonight. But hey, we all got to now sit back and root for the Lakers for one more game. I hate rooting for the Lakers, but we all got to band together and hope that the Lakers beat the damn Clippers tomorrow night. Big game for Warriors fans. If they can, beat the Clippers, the Warriors then have the chance on Monday to take the 6th seed still. So we really got to hope that the Lakers beat the Clippers tomorrow night. And I just hate rooting for the Lakers any time that I'm forced to. It just makes me so upset, man. So upset. It's about all the time that we got for you guys today. I gotta go take like a lozenge or something, man. I was up doing karaoke way too late last night. Kind of lost track of time out there in the mean streets of Oakland doing some karaoke with all the friends and all that. And you hear the results, man. You hear the results. If you're doing some karaoke, make sure you don't got a show to do the next day. Make sure you lozenge up. Make sure you're using that throat coat tea. Do whatever you need to do because, man, you don't want to end up in my position. Bad choice by Triple E. Bad. I need to go do some injury management like Jimmy Butler, man. I need to get out of here. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. As we said, Monday. The Warriors play the Hornets, 4:00 tip. We will go live afterwards, as we always do here on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll see you next time. Peace.